Welcome to Focus Washington. I'm Chuck Conconi, and my guest here again today is Samantha Sault, who's been here before. She's the fashion expert at the Weekly Standard magazine and has recently been to the fashion shows in New York. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
How does it look this year? Is it different? I mean, the economy is in quite a disaster. Are the fashions we're seeing more practical than they have been in the past?
They are. We actually saw two types of fashions this year in Fashion Weeks. First of all, mostly in New York, we saw lots of very wearable, practical clothing, mostly tailored pantsuits, tailored blazers. Pants have seemed to replace dresses of seasons past. Lots of black, trench coats, winter coats that really make a statement. So yes, there are lots of practical clothes that can be worn even in cities like Washington, D.C.
Well, you know, traditionally the kind of fashions we would see are the sort of wild, crazy things that, you know, make the pictures, make the television, that make the headlines.
Right.
From the pictures you've shown me, there was actually only one gown that was a little wild.
Right. I mean, designers basically showed either practical clothing or extremely wild clothing to make a statement.
Yeah.
Alexander McQueen was the gown that I showed you.
The one with all the birds all over
it. Right, red and black with birds, extravagant makeup. But that was pretty much the exception to the rule. For the most part, designers really want to sell clothing this year because they know they're going to have more difficulty doing so than seasons past.
Well, I would think the designers are concerned now about the economy and that are doing this with good reason.
Right. Yeah, I think that people just are shopping less, you know. Maybe if they don't necessarily have less money, they might be concerned about their future financial situations and don't want to spend thousands of dollars on extravagant clothes that can only be worn for one season because they're so trendy. So designers are sticking to more classic silhouettes and simpler neutral colors that can be worn season after season.
That must mean that all these Wall Street guys who are in so much trouble, their wives who would go out and easily buy a $15,000, $20,000 gown for a little event are not doing that. Their Neiman Marcus must be suffering.
Right, I think they are, but at the same point, people still need to wear clothes, and there shouldn't be any shame in shopping. It's a huge industry. It's, you know, billions of dollars, millions of jobs globally when you consider the textile manufacturers, the factories that make the clothing, and the designers themselves. And there shouldn't be any shame in shopping if you want to shop. So.
Well, but as you said the last time we talked about Michelle Obama, and you were pointing out that the thing about Michelle Obama is that a lot of what she buys is practical, and a lot of it is not terribly expensive.
Right. Right. We did see a lot of looks, especially from some of her favorite designers like Narciso Rodriguez, that we can definitely see that were designed with Michelle in mind. So
that was that yellow outfit in the
yes,
pictures?
Narciso designed in particular this bright citrine yellow suit. I believe it was made out of wool that you can definitely see on Michelle's coloring and you can definitely see here in Washington. So
there's kind of things I would assume that you can wear to work but also wear out in the evening.
Right. I mean, classic silhouettes never go out of style, but this year maybe you want to spice it up a little bit with some bright colors, which we also saw a lot of.
But why are pants suddenly so significant this year?
You know, I don't really know why actually, but we've seen dresses a lot on seasons past, and this year it's suddenly all about pants, all different shapes, from skinny leather leggings, which maybe are a little bit impractical, to tailored balloon-shaped pants that could be worn in the office or to a cocktail party.
Maybe it was Hillary Clinton that had something to do with it. She wears pantsuits all the time.
Pantsuit could be.
Is this, a lot of these fashions you see, you think they're practical in New York, Washington, and major cities across the country where, especially for the woman who is a businesswoman, has to be more careful and more practical, that you think they are going to work better or not?
I think so. I mean, you don't want to spend thousands of dollars on clothing from the runway that you're only going to wear one season. So if you can buy pants, for instance, that you know will never really go out of style, I think that that's probably a better investment than a crazy 80s style dress like the Marc Jacobs dresses we saw, which are beautiful and really amazing, but really aren't that practical.
But then you could do a mix and match.
You could pair, say, leather pants, which we saw a lot of, with a classic tailored blazer, for instance.
Did you buy anything while you were in New York from any of them?
Not from the fall runways, not yet. I might have to wait until they trickle down to retailers here in DC, but We'll see. I have a few things in mind. I do love the classic tailored blazers. I love the leather that we saw on the runway. Of course, I love the fur, but I don't see myself wearing that anytime soon.
Thank you, Samantha. It's been
Thank
great to
you.
have you here. I'm Chuck Conconi, and this has been Focus Washington.